stirred up the whims of discontent, while some joys of joys when it comes down to it. And today we're talking about AI, and we're talking about should expert speakers, should influencers be worried about AI? Because for the last decade, it's been rammed into us. You need to be a content machine, 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 you need to produce content. It's all about the content. Content equals cash, content equals gold, content equals money, content equals profile. And suddenly, well, not suddenly, because AI has been alive for a lot longer, suddenly along comes the likes of ChatGPT. Boom! And you can produce content within seconds. Now, the question I'm going to answer today, and by all means, feel free to like, subscribe, and the key I was actually looking for is comment. Feel free to comment. If you're watching this live on LinkedIn, feel free to comment what you think, right? Because this is a very interesting conversation, and it's a very interesting topic, because there's some key aspects that simply, as a speaker, you really shouldn't be worried. And I know there's a lot of speakers that are worried, a lot of people out there that are worried. And here's what I'm going to share my opinion on this, right? And you're very entitled to disagree. And by all means, if you do, you do. And if you don't, you don't. Whatevs, man. I'm just going to share my thoughts about why we as speakers should totally not be concerned with AI. In fact, I'm the school that we should learn to embrace it. We should learn to utilize it in the best way possible, in the way that shows us off in the best light. And of course, we should respect the parameters of plagiarism, right? We should not be plagiarizing. We should not be, I know there's this whole debate, and I'm not in any way, shape, or form going to get involved in that, because I just don't know enough, right, about it. But AI, in my point of view, the likes of ChatGPT, and they won't be the only one in the market for very long. I think for me that we can really utilize the benefits of ChatGPT, for example. I know for someone like myself who's massively dyslexic, and it's very hard often to write content. I can speak content. I'm a speaker, right? And by the way, if you want to book me, just reach out, send me a DM, send me a message, and I will come and speak at your event, and we can talk about that. But that's not what this is all about. For someone like myself who is incredibly, to write, to type, grammatically, spelling is very hard. Something like AI has helped me massively. Now, of course, I'm from the days, even like, I don't know, best part of 30 years ago, when I got given a computer and there's a voice I could speak into and it would type it, so it isn't new to me. And even then it would just mistype and, type silly things. And that was funny, but you've got to understand, as experts that speak, as influence out there, there's so many things that AI can do, but there's a lot of things it can't do. And so the first thing it cannot do, right? AI cannot replace human connection. It just can't, no matter how much we work on it. Now, remember, as speakers, as expert speakers, as people out there of influence that use our voice, our bodies to communicate, AI just can't replicate that, right? And the thing is about speaking, it's the connection with the audience. And AI cannot replicate that, period. I know we can fall in love with robots in films, and we can have an emotional attachment when we're watching robots in certain, contexts. But at the end of the day, as an expert speaker, as an influencer, someone who's out there on stage, virtual or non, AI cannot create the connection that we're talking about. And any experienced speaker will know exactly what I mean when I'm talking about that. So please remember that, period, the AI cannot replace human connection, right? The other thing AI cannot replace, right, is the ability to evoke. Now, of course, when we're using AI to type, it's one thing. When we're using AI to communicate, there's something it cannot respond to that we can, as speakers, when we're seeing the room, is the emotion, the human emotion, right? So when we are looking at it from a speaking, influencing expert that speak on stage, we're able to read the room. We're able to understand the energy and what's going on. And, often, depending on the topic you speak about, if people are being emotional, we can read that and we can tailor our response, and we can tailor our content, or we can shift and move outside of those parameters, because we can respond. And of course, we can create that human emotion. But that's something that, in the grand scheme of things, unless it's really, 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 really sophisticated, and we are just speaking about right now, speaking experts that speak, influencers that speak, it cannot do that, right? That's the other thing I want you to be aware of. Now, while you can program AI, and I'm by no means an expert, to be your audience, and if you're using AI to be your audience, then of course you can program. And these days it's very sophisticated, right? But it can't truly be a live audience, right? If you're standing there uh, and you're speaking and you're getting responses, laughter, crying, high fives, all that kind of stuff, the energy in the room, AI simply cannot replicate that, right? It might be able to do bits of that. And I don't know why anyone would replicate an audience anyway as AI, why they'd spend that time developing it. But who knows? It just cannot do that, right? That's a period. So you got to understand that, especially since chat GBT came along, and its power and its amazingness and its simplicity, there's been this whole hoo-ha. And as speakers, we really don't need to be worried about that. There's just elements that, that we talked about, the emotions. It can't replicate being a live audience. It can't replicate connection, you know. So the thing is, AI can help us generate content that we can then utilize, that we can help to grow our speaking. If we're stuck on how to go around a talk, or how to reframe something, or how to make something compelling, that's where AI can really, really help, right? That's where it can really help. Because again, now some people are very great writers and speakers. Some people are very great writers, some people are great speakers. Very rare are both. And when you write something, doesn't always translate well into a speech, and when you've spoken something, doesn't always translate really well into a talk. But if we need to refine and tweak and modify, actually using something like AI that can look at all the options and churn something out for you that might be able to be more compelling, more exciting, even suggest various ways to say something, then I am for it, right? I'm for that. Um, of course, our brain can do it, and we do it as speakers, as experts that speaks. But that's another aspect of why AI is helping. But it cannot become us. Period. It cannot do the connection, the audience. It just won't. Right. So in that respect, I really think that we worrying for those who are worrying, for those who are slightly panicked. Hey, Jason, lovely to see you. For those of you concerned whether AI is, should be worried. I mean, is it taking over? Yes, it kind of is, right? Doomsday, Terminator, I'll be back. Um, you know, but I think it can really help experts that speak. I think a lot of times where people are stuck with, you know, how do I get going? How do that? Again, AI can help, but we still need to deliver. So the compelling, the connection, the emotions, all that AI simply cannot replicate. That's a fact. That's period, right? Human interaction, the smells that you get when you go speaking, all that kind of stuff AI cannot do, right? Um, the other thing I want you to understand is when you're booked to speak, they're booking you. They're booking the personal experience of you as an expert speaker. They're booking who you are and what you bring. And that's again, AI might be this massive blanket of possibilities, but it can never be you, and it can never be your voice, and it can never have the impact that you can have by physically or virtually standing on stage and delivering. Sure, we can go and see ABBA sing, and they're all holograms, and that's amazing. But what we're still getting from that is the hologram human version of ABBA, right? So while we can go to a live music concert and have that same experience because we're watching a hologram of that speaker, of that singer, etc., because the music industry is pre-recorded, it can have that impact, right? But as a speaker, because your ability to really read a live room, to tap into emotions, to create an energy, to create a force, to create responses, to bounce back and forwards, I really, really strongly, and have I mentioned this? I really strongly believe that experts that speak, speakers or influencers have nothing to worry about when it comes down to AI. In fact, we could learn to embrace it even more. And so it can do something to support us in that respects. Right. And again, it does depend on what what area of AI we're talking to. And I'm really focused on the likes of content creation, chat GBT, all that stuff that's in the conversations right now. So you literally, anybody right now who's out there, let's learn to embrace it, like the likes of chat GBT. Let's learn to utilize it so it maximizes us and it makes us better. And it gives us the ability to speak and influence in greater ways. That's what I suggest we do. So I just want to do an episode about that. If you enjoyed that, fantastic. Remember to like, subscribe, and of course, comment below. Share your opinion, share this podcast, follow us on all the podcasting platforms. As I start to wrap this up, but let's just go out there. The important thing is to be seen, be heard, and be more giraffe, to stand out from the rest, to have a voice and to use it for good. And again, that's something that AI at this point can't do. They might be able to replace many or enhance many aspects of our lives, but they can never, ever replace you, what you bring to the table, the experience you bring to the table, the emotions you evoke in your audience, and the message you have to say. Please remember that. Till the next episode, be seen, be heard, and always